Let us come to order, please. I call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Carrabelle City Commission. It's Thursday, June 6, 2024, 6 p.m. at the Carrabelle City Hall. I'll open with a short prayer and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. If you would, please stand. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you again for another wonderful day that you have given us on this great earth. Thank you for the many blessings that you bestow upon us on a daily basis. And thank you for the motivation and the guidance that you give us as we proceed forward in our daily lives. And I ask for your wisdom and guidance tonight as we proceed through our business at hand here at our meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you have any cell phones and they need silencing, if you'd do that, we'd appreciate it. First thing is the consent agenda. We have the May 2nd, 2024 regular meeting minutes. We have the May 21st, 2024 special meeting minutes and the attorney's invoices. Would you like to handle those together or separately?
I'll make a motion to approve all three.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Walden. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is public comment. This is the time that anyone in the audience and in the public wishes to speak on anything that's not specific on the agenda tonight. This is your time to get up and speak or comment on anything. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak at this time?
Richard Meller. Did I say that right?
Yeah, but I scheduled talks about the lighthouse.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't
Okay.
read that right, okay.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Next is the commissioners' reports. Commissioner Walden.
I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner Brown.
I have a few things.
Okay.
First and foremost, I would like to thank our Carrabelle Water and Sewer Department for working day and night over Memorial Day weekend to repair an issue we had with our main sewer system. Without their efforts, the Carrabelle Water District could have had a not-so-pleasant holiday weekend, and their efforts have not gone unnoticed. Tomorrow is the one-year anniversary of First Friday in downtown Carrabelle. Please join us for music, art, late-night shopping, refreshments, and fun. I'd like to thank Mr. Bill Owen and Mr. Bo May from Rio Carrabelle for getting this started. It's been a great boost to our local businesses. Last month, the Franklin County Board of Commissioners appointed me to our Tourist Development Council. The TDC board promotes Franklin County's natural, historical, and cultural resources with the goal of bringing visitors to our area to support our local economy, and I'm very appreciative to be a part of this board. Saturday, June 15th, is the 21st annual Kingfish Shootout at Sea Quarters Marina here in Carrabelle. This fishing tournament benefits the Leukemia Research Foundation, and it's one of our busiest weekends in Carrabelle. Sponsorship and registration forms are available online at thekingfishshootout.com or visit Sea Quarters Marina on Highway 98 in Carrabelle. And lastly, June 1st is not only the first day of red snapper season, it's also the first day of hurricane season. If you're new to the area or need information on how you can be prepared, the Franklin County Emergency Management has a lot of excellent resources on their Facebook page as well as their website at franklinemergencymanagement.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Gray?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. And I have nothing, but I will echo the sentiments that Commissioner Brown said to our employees with the Water and Sewer Department for their extra effort, if you will, over the holiday weekend. And it wasn't only the Water and Sewer Department. Town was full. Our police department did an excellent job handling the crowd, and our Streets and Roads Department did an excellent job in preparing and cleaning up afterwards. So anyway, all the city employees did great. We appreciate it. So. Okay. Next on the agenda is the city attorney.
I have none.
Okay. Next would be the city administrator.
I sent out the department staff reports. Did everybody receive those?
Yes, ma'am.
Do y'all have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. We need to do a road closure for the July 4th golf cart parade, which is actually going to be on July the 5th. But we are asking to close a part of Avenue C, a portion of Marine Street, Avenue E, and 3rd Street. The little block, you'll see it in green here on the map. So just that little portion so that the golf carts, they'll line up at the Sands Park and then they can make the little trek around. So I am requesting that we close those roads.
Okay, that's the same routes that we had
The
last
same routes that we've had in the previous years.
previous years, right, yeah. Okay, do I hear a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to approve the closure of the road for the golf cart parade.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gray. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brown. Any further comment?
I do, for the time of that, we're gonna change it a little bit, line up at 5:30 because it doesn't take as long. And then we only usually cruise around for about 30 minutes, so 5:30, I'd say to 6:30 would probably suffice.
Okay,
So our July 4th, our independence celebration
oh,
will be,
oh.
oh, I'm sorry.
we got to vote on that.
Okay, go ahead.
If no further questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Sir.
Madam Clerk, did you get that?
Got it.
Okay.
Our independence celebration will be held on July 5th this year, which coincides with the first Friday of the month. And that was kind of why you guys decided to do that, because we have a first Friday event every month. So the businesses are open longer and there's food and entertainment and all kinds of stuff going on. So it will be held July 5th, on Friday, July 5th.
Thank you.
Next.
Is that all?
No, I got more. Did you have
Okay.
any questions?
Yep.
Mayor Melander and I toured the old City Hall property and looked at the most effective way that we could secure that property. We've looked at boarding up all the windows. It would be extremely, extremely expensive. We looked at bolting up the doors. There's so many of them, and then they just break the glass to get in. So we have looked at an option that most of the fencing is around the property already. And so it just needs to be secured and locked up, and to get with the school board and ask them if they'll close off their sides of the fences. And if they'll do so, that will take care of most of it. If they want to get in there, they're going to break in there, but that will detour a lot of the vandalism that's going on. And then cleaning up the front of the building and bringing the bushes down so that it's more visible, and you know, the public sees it and they're less likely to try to break into the front of it. So that's our plan of action for now.
Great.
We'll see how it works.
And that's a good explanation, but Courtney and I did spend quite a bit of time walking through and around. And not only the windows and the doors, they've went up on the canopies that walk over canopies and tore out sections of the roof. So to secure that by boxing it up would be extremely expensive and difficult, because yeah, there's huge gaps and holes in the roof and the side of the building where they've tore all that out, where they've went up top. And what she explained there is some of those trees and bushes are growing up where we haven't controlled any of that, and it's hiding some of those areas that vandals could get behind and hide. If we'll clean some of that up, where it'll open up the facility, put some fencing up where there is none, put up some good signs that she and I talked about, some good metal signs on no trespassing, not just the cheap ones that are gonna blow away. And is probably gonna be the most cost-effective route to secure that building. To do it by sealing it up, sealing up the doors, windows, roofs, etc. She and I were throwing numbers around, and I figured we probably cost us $20,000 to do it. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But anyway, thank you, Ms. Courtney, for that report.
All right, and on Monday, we submitted a historical grant for the renovation of the post office. It come up to approximately $500,000. That was a complete renovation. And the grant match on that is 25% if we're approved for the grant. So we can look at that more during budget time, where to come up with the funds. We've got several places that we might could take them from, but we haven't been approved, and we can figure out where we're going to get the match money. But I think we need to go ahead with that because that's a lot of money that we could get funded.
We need.
Question for you.
All right.
Did you need ratification on a signature?
We could ratify that.
You had mentioned it. Is the reason why I asked you that. Do you need that?
We can, yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
I mean, I think I signed it.
Okay, well, that's cool. If that's legal and we're
If
good
y'all
with
wanna
that, we're good.
Ratify me signing it.
Yeah.
That would be the motion to ratify.
Say that again?
Saying it's on what was it on the
It's a
historic
historical grant.
grant? Yeah, so just a motion to ratify Courtney's authority to sign the grant
Okay.
application.
Somebody can make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to ratify Courtney's signature on the grant.
I'll second. Have a motion for signature ratification on the historical grant. I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Ms. Courtney. Is that it?
Thank you for finding that.
Yes.
I think Betty Webb.
Yes.
Miss Betty Webb did that grant.
Awesome.
Ms. Clerk? When you catch up. You're good. Take your time.
Okay. I've got some dates for your calendars. So June the 18th at 1:30 is our CRA meeting, regular CRA. June the 20th is our regular P&Z meeting. We will be closed on July 4th, and that would normally be our meeting day, but we voted last month to move the meeting to July 11th at 6 p.m. So the next city meeting will be July 11th at 6 p.m. And then just a quick recap, just on the budget. We've brought in 1.6 million of the 1.9 budgeted on the income. And then we're looking good on expenditures. We're only at 1 million in expenditures, 1,038,000, so we're doing good on. I did want to point out one thing that I noticed. All of our nonprofits have requested their money that they get from the budget, but the library. So if anybody knows anybody involved with the library, if you could have them send me an email requesting the release of funds so that we can make sure we get that out to them.
Is that all, Ms. Keisha? Thank you very much for your report. Any questions for Ms. Keisha? Okay, Mr. Russell, I think you up next.
All right, thank you. On our lighthouse project, that is wrapping up the DEP loan portion for the water system. That's being closed out, so the city will be responsible to start making payments on that. And then on the Phase 1 sewer grant, that one is closed out, and we're working on closing out Phase 2. So that project's come to a close. We did hold the ribbon cutting ceremony on Tuesday, May 23rd. as you are aware, with representatives of the Water Management District and DEP, Deepwater Horizon. That was a good ceremony.
Was, yes.
On the golf cart signing, we do have Emerald Coast Striping authorized to make those installations, so that'll be happening soon. We have 2 sewer rehabilitation projects in Lanark East and Lanark West. The Lanark East project, we are expecting a letting in late July, construction complete on that in November. That's a sewer rehabilitation. And that's 100% grant. And then on Lanark West, we're developing some concept plans there. We expect letting in September and construction complete in March on that one. Okay, the water supply well number 5. This is a new supply well. We held a meeting with the Water Management District staff. They reviewed our application and made comments, so we responded to their permit review comments. And then on 5th Street resurfacing, we did prepare that contract and transmitted it to North Florida Construction for signature, waiting for them to send all that back with bonds and insurance, et cetera. And then at that point, we'll work on the change order for 3rd and Gray as we discussed.
Okay.
Okay.
Question for you,
Yes.
Russell. I know you're moving along pretty good, but back on the golf cart crossings, you mentioned the striping on the road. Did I miss anything on signage there?
Yeah, there's signage. Yes,
Okay.
five new signs.
Okay. And they are going to be installed by?
Emerald Coast Striping.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you
And-
say signage. So-
Yeah, it definitely does include signage.
Okay.
And they're responsible for maintenance of traffic as they do that installation, and that this is what they do.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, lastly, I did include a list of some grant opportunities that are upcoming as part of your package. Just want to review those with you real fast. The first one would be the Lanark Southwest Septic to Sewer. That's the big area there on the west side of Lanark, currently not served with water or sewer. So this would be a DEP water quality improvement grant, and that's money that's set aside for septic to sewer projects. So we've had some good discussions with the grant administrators on that one. That's a 100% grant, and that application is due June 30th, so we're preparing that application.
Going to meet that deadline?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely. We'll be early.
I actually think that's great. I came in, the city, Courtney, the city council at that time was in process with the Lighthouse Septic to Sewer grant when I came aboard. However, that's been a wonderful thing to take that many people off of septic tanks over there, and now they're on city sewer and water. And Lanark, not only is it needed and necessary for the health of the environment and the bay, just like this was, the residents out there are really interested in it. I've had a lot of folks come to me in Lanark that, well, most of them, I say most of them, I don't want to misstate, a lot of them think that they're in the city of Carrabelle. They come up and have conversation with me, well, that's the city's. I said, no, ma'am. But anyway, I think that's great to get that going.
Good, and that-
Definitely wouldn't want to miss that June 30th deadline.
No, we'll make that.
Yeah.
And there's 280 residents, 280 existing residents with septic tanks. So that's more than Lanark, but it's in a smaller footprint.
Gotcha.
So that would be a really good project.
You mean more than the lighthouse?
I'm sorry, Lighthouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
even shows the density's heavier.
Right. All right, the second one on the list is the water supply interconnection. If you remember, this was the interconnection we were looking at between Lanark and Summer Camp.
Correct.
We struggled to find the right fit for the program, the grant program. We did find one though. Discussed it with the administration staff, and this is the Resilient Florida program. But to make that work, we need to also include the interconnection between Carrabelle and Lanark. So this would be an interconnection to include Carrabelle to Lanark and Lanark to Summer Camp. So it's ambitious. It will require a donation of easements from St. Joe Company. Otherwise, the route that we've worked on is on St. Joe property or city property or public right-of-way. And that's a $12.9 million estimate
Yeah,
for that
that's
project.
aggressive.
It is. It's about 70,000 feet of pipe. But that is a 100% grant program on that as well.
Amazing.
And what's the time span on it?
September 1st is the deadline for that one.
Okay.
Okay, the third, we talked about Carrabelle well number 5. We estimate that's going to be about a $510,000 project. And for that project, we would seek SRF funding, and we expect the grant amount to be in the 75% range. I think on the Lighthouse project, it was about 78% grant. So I think we'll be in that range on the grant amount. But once we get permits approved and close out this existing grant that we have, we could pursue that at that point.
Closing out the Lighthouse grant.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which is underway right now. And that deadline will be in the fall. Okay, lastly, the Avenue C overflow boat parking area, we're estimating that construction cost at $350,000. We did need we're going to need to pull together 2 different grant programs to fund that. One would be the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program, FERDAP. And we reviewed that with Fred Fox, and he thinks we'll be able to get $80,000 there. And then through FWC, there's a boating infrastructure grant program. They call those big grants. And we're going to work through that program for the balance of the construction costs there. So that's what we're pursuing at this time. Just wanted to make you aware of those.
To me, that's definitely exciting and promising
Yeah.
for the future in many respects. However, one thing that just came to my mind is everything you just mentioned is not going to interfere with Baywood. Am I correct?
That's correct. Baywood is a different grant through DOT.
Yep. Just want to verify that.
And that one, the award announces that in August.
Yeah. And that's the one we're leveraging some
Yes.
money with to try to get that that's a substantial project to the little city like Carrabelle.
Yeah.
And one that we're trying to leverage some money with that we can afford to try to get that done.
Right.
So, but that sounds good. Any of the commissioners have any questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Rowe.
All right. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Don't miss the deadlines.
Lots of exciting things.
Okay, next is on the agenda is the advisory board reports. Ms. Tamara, would you like to be first? Did you have something you wanted to share with us tonight?
I got a scooter that's acting up. I'm likely to start beeping at any moment, so don't be alarmed. I'm sorry I didn't get a written report in tonight. We're trying to close out our big grant for the elevator, and it's taking a lot more effort. Things are, okay. Is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
I double-checked on our historical marker for the museum building. They're still fabricating it. I don't know how long it takes to fabricate a monument, but apparently a long time. And we're looking forward to having that by the end of the summer, having it in front of the building. And we're also found out that the historical commercial district that had passed and gone to the National Department of Interior, had come back to the state for a few changes, but they were very minor. They were almost like typographical kinds of changes. So it looked very promising when it went up. It came back for literally typo kinds of things, and it's gone back. So we're expecting to probably be successful with that certainly before the year is up, but hopefully before the summer is over. And we're thrilled about Miss Betty and her work on the historical grant for the post office. That's a very, very good project for Carrabelle.
Yes, and thank you for volunteering to assist.
Well,
Yep.
I wasn't able to get her in the system. That was my frustration. I tried it all weekend, didn't work. But we got her a few other things, so that was helpful. And we're having a lot of people come to see the exhibit that we did on Tate's Hill. There's been an awful lot of people coming on vacation who are stopping by to see that and actually watch the movie that was made by the FSU Film School. And so it's been a very popular thing. And just in case you don't know this, if you were here in our area and you're looking for a place to watch the stars, the best place in this part of all the southeastern states is the boardwalk at the Dwarf Cypress in the middle of Tate's Hill. It's the darkest spot around, and this guy came to our area specifically to go stargazing out at the Dwarf Cypress Boardwalk. And when you look it up on that dark spot near me kind of an app, it actually says that is like the best place. The next one is over in the Okefenokee, but it's amazing how dark it is out there. So cool. Just in case somebody didn't know that. Anyway, y'all have any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
We're still looking for more volunteers to work for 1 or 2 hours a week, or 1 or 2 hours a month, or to do some projects we have that we need people to do research on. So we're always seeking people to come and help us out. So if anybody would like to do that for fun, we would be glad to work with you on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tammer.
Okay. I'm going to beep. Why I'm beeping.
Steve, did you have anything you wanted to comment on? And you can tell us who you are.
Sure. My name is Stephen Allen. I'm the president of Carrabelle Lighthouse Association. I have a couple announcements. First of all, this month at the Crooked River Lighthouse, we have Full Moon Climb on the 21st. Friday, we'll have Ricola Band there with music and food. We also have the country markets on the 15th and the 29th of the month, so from 9 till 11 or so. There are vendors out there selling wares. Always check it out. And then a couple of special announcements. Okay. Okay. We will. We're unaware of the light not working. Oh, the speak. Oh, the mic. I thought she said the light. My hearing aids aren't working. Okay. So where was I? So yes, the other important date is the 25th of June. We're having a membership meeting of our members in our organization to elect a new board that will serve under a new set of bylaws that have been created and updated. And notes went out to the membership. We'll be contacting more members as they come in. If anyone is interested in the community and volunteering and being part of our community, both as a volunteer or as a board member, we are needing some with special skills to work on the work that needs to be done. So we're always open to having new people join our community and work with us. So I wanted to thank Courtney and the city for the donation of the surplus lawnmower. Took me a few times around the lot to get control of it, but managed to mow the yard. It's the first time, my eyes wide open, but it's been a great help. It allows us to keep up with the mowing and cleaning up of the property, so that's been a huge benefit, and we really are thankful for that. It's been great. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Steve. Thank you for your work. Okay, is anyone here from the airport?
I don't see anyone
I
here.
don't see Bruce, but I can miss him.
Last month, you guys asked to send a seaplane landing strip for the airport advisory board to look into that. So one of our members, Mr. Bruce Graham, he took that on himself. Very knowledgeable. I believe he was retired from the FAA or something. So I sent you guys his report, so y'all have all seen it. But basically, he just confirmed that he could find no records at the FAA or the FDOT of an existence of a government certified sanctioned seaplane landing. He calls it's a seaplane base. So he could find no existence of a seaplane base. He also looked at all the maps and determined that it would be in interference with the flight patterns and that they didn't have enough room to take off and land in the river. It would interfere with the flight patterns that were at the airport. And also that the dockage, to be able to dock it in the river because the plane has the wings that come out so far, that there's no place in the Carrabelle River that would be able to dock that. There was no facilities. So that was his determination. You guys have read his report. Unless you have something to go on from here, y'all want to take it any further, that
Courtney,
was what he found.
Just to add to it, I attended the meeting with Courtney, and Mr. Bruce gave a very thorough report, extremely knowledgeable. He did a lot of research with the state and with feds. And they talked about, on the east end, the housing and the big tower interference. On the opposite end, you've got the bridge interference and private housing. Plus, they would not even consider it because it's so close to the current runway. You'd be interfering with the current runway. So anyway, he gave a thorough report on it, and Courtney sent that information out that he had.
With the maps, the maps
With the
were
map,
included.
that's correct. And it was a good report, and I appreciate that, yeah. But anyway, thank you, Ms. Courtney.
All right, the other item that we had is our airport master plan. It has in there where we're going to build our new hangars, and they were planned to be built over behind the fuel tank. And now that they've looked into that location is not really a good location because of all the wetlands and the FEMA floodplain, and that it would significantly reduce the size of the development and the number of hangars that we could get in there. So they're asking that we make an amendment to our airport master plan, and instead of putting them on the end behind the fuel tanks, that we move them over to the other end on the other side of the other existing hangars.
Like where they were thinking about making a campground?
Yes, exactly
Yeah,
where.
That's perfect.
Exactly where they were going to make their campground. Right now, we just need to approve a change, if you guys agree to it, to change the master plan. They may need a resolution at some time, but we emailed FDOT and they haven't come back with an answer yet. So at this time, we're just asking that you guys approve to amend the airport master plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the amending the master plan.
Have a motion and a second to amend the master plan for the airport as requested by the airport committee. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried, Ms. Keisha. Ms. Courtney?
I may come back later with a resolution if needed that you guys would have to approve, but right now they haven't said they need one.
I do have
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
Because they won't have to do as much groundwork, I'm assuming, in this new location, is that going to reduce the amount of funds that they're going to utilize for this project?
It will reduce the amount of funds that they need to build the hangars, but they're also going to have to include a taxiway to get back, so that money will have to be used for the
Gotcha.
taxiway.
That's right. Yep.
So all in all, it's gonna be about the same price.
Okay.
Yeah, what they described, it would be a wash, really, in the funding, so.
We know how much asphalt costs, so I
Yes.
don't doubt it.
Is that all, Ms. Courtney? Okay. I think that's all of our advisory boards. Next on the agenda is public hearing, and we have none. And next, we have a quasi-judicial hearing, and I will call recess to our regular city commission meeting and call to order our quasi-judicial hearing. And we'll take up item number 1, approve, disapprove a special exception for a residential use within a C1 zoning at a vacant lot behind 501 Northwest Avenue A, Northwest Avenue B, requested by Dan Bywaters. Now, Ms. Keisha, did you want to respond to that first?
So this did go to planning and zoning. All the letters was sent out according to the code. Planning and zoning was, they recommended denial 5-1, or 6-1.
6-1, okay. Mr. Bywaters, are you here?
Yes,
Would you like to respond, a comment?
it's all new to me.
Come up to the podium if you will. Give us your name in full.
Good evening. Danny Bywaters, this is my wife, Alicia Bywaters,
Yes, sir.
and we're wanting to build a house behind the 501 Avenue B address. I've got some paperwork. I don't know if y'all need it, don't need it. Y'all pretty much know everything that's here. Do y'all want to look at it? Anything, pictures, all the houses that are around it? It's all.
That's the same paperwork that you
We didn't-
provided to the
We didn't have
P&Z?
anything, but we came with nothing the first time because we were told we didn't need anything. And then pictures were okay, I guess, but we didn't have anything.
Okay.
All this is new. Or what we should have had probably to start with, I don't know.
Well, I think we understand that what the request is to build a new residence,
Yes, sir.
and it's in a C1 area,
Yes, sir.
and residential usage is allowed in a C1 area by special exception.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I right, Ms. Keisha?
Yes.
Okay. And P&Z had heard your request, our Planning and Zoning Board?
Yes,
And
sir.
she just gave that report. And Mr. Dan, did you have anything to add to that?
I can, just to provide some, not background, but say legal background for y'all. And I know this has been a topic that we've
Okay.
had to deal with a lot lately, of residential special exceptions in C1. We've had a number of different types of requests. When I say that, the facts of each one are kind of specific to each one that comes before us, where we've had existing residential with a residential use, where it basically is changing ownership and moving to other. There's literally never been any objection to those. They've always sailed through. The ones we've struggled with is where the property has either been used for commercial and then is going to residential, even if it's returning to residential from a historic use. That was probably the most recent one we had that was controversial. And then historically, the more similar ones, and I talked to Mr. Bywater about this after the P&Z meeting, that we've had that would be similar to his, but again, not the same, is we had the Lysettes came before the city to do some residential adjacent to the Fisherman's Wife. P&Z recommended denial of that, and they didn't bring it to the city. And then we had a gentleman who had a vacant lot on the corner of Avenue B, and I believe Ryan Drive, and he wanted to do residential in C1 there of a townhome on a vacant lot, just like Lysette's was a vacant lot, and he was denied as well. And part of the rationale there was, discussed, was that they had spent a lot of money on Avenue B, and to develop it as a more commercial, zone and all this, but that one did come to the commission and was denied. This one, obviously, as you can see, has a home on each side, a residence, And that's a little bit different than the ones we've looked at in the past, so for just consideration. And I did advise Mr. Bywater, which is something that you all already know, is that P&Z is a advisory body, and they provide a recommendation to the City Commission that although it's certainly weighted and very much considered and appreciated, is the final say is with you all.
Okay, and any of the board members have any comment?
I have some
Ms.
questions.
Sabrina?
Yes, ma'am.
Like our city attorney was saying, we've had similar situations come in front of us, and if it's like renovating an older home, they need
Yes,
a
ma'am.
special exception and things like that. You have a home on this lot, and I know it said a vacant lot, but this is one lot, and you're requesting to put a second home on the one lot. Would you be taking the other home off? I understand it's a mobile home.
No, it would stay there. They would be, because we have a house behind us, beside us, in front of us. There's everything out of every window in the house. If we build it, you see a house. You don't see any commercial property. And I understand, we've been here, we've owned this for 10 years, a little over. We've been coming to Carrabelle for over 30 years. We used to stay in the moorings, and I mean, we've been fishing here forever. I live in Cairo, Georgia, or we live in Cairo, Georgia. And you were talking about the city sewer project. I helped put that in back when y'all did this, when I worked at Roto-Rooter in Tallahassee.
Nice.
And Jimmy Crowder, we worked with him, and I did some of your sewer work through the streets and all. But we've been in this area for quite a while, and we like this area. And the only reason we're building a house back there, because it is a double wide, and a good storm could probably take it out. And I know, that lot would be on the main Avenue B, which is what y'all are considering the main thoroughfare, is what the old mayor told us. They want the new Avenue B to be the new downtown area, or a way through. And I do a lot of work with Stones, who just bought out Ace Hardware. I've worked with Stones for over 30 years also, and possibly doing some business with them is coming here to be a manager for their Stone store. Nothing is in writing, nothing, as far as what they're doing. We're just got an open lot behind us that we want to build, something that will last as long as we do, hopefully.
Personally,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not speaking for the others, but I know with our intention of having a commercial district is to grow our commercial
Yes, ma'am.
district. So if it was renovating a home or replacing a home, I could understand keeping it residential and building a home. But adding more residential to the commercial is kind of counterintuitive for the reason of making this a commercial district.
Right.
So I didn't watch the P&Z meeting. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
But that's just my general thought.
And it's also inconsistent with where we have the stance that we have taken on building our commercial district since I've been on the board for 7 years. And because as the attorney explained, since I've been on the board, we've turned down 2 that I know of. 3 or 2? 2, yeah, 2 I'm aware of. And that was the purpose of that, again, because when the plan was put together, I wasn't here when the zoning plan was put together, but when it was put together, that's the idea, just like you go into any town or municipality that has a, if you will, a land plan, land development plan. So anyway, that's my thinking on it. Anyone else? Mr. Gray, Commissioner Gray?
No, y'all about covered what I'm thinking. I mean, I see us holding to where
Yeah.
we stand with this, and we take
What would be
P&Z's
the-
recommendation.
What are y'all have a vision on it being commercial? What about all the houses that are already there? They're all making over $1,000 to $1,500 a month rent. We've talked to every single person that owns these houses. They're not moving them. They're not getting rid of them. When you get making $1,500 a month rent, why would you bring in a commercial building? I mean, I own a business in Cairo. I could put a commercial building there if y'all would allow it. And then I got a commercial building in the middle of a bunch of people's houses. Then this guy across, Mr. Irwin, that hates me across the street because I put in a commercial building. Klinkenberger hates me because I put a building right up next to his house, in which his house encroaches our property. It's over our property line. So if we were to do a residential house, we could make a deal with Klinkenberger to where we could leave it where it is and nothing has to move. But with commercial, it's 0 lot line, so I could move my house all the way up against his, make him move his house, which is about $30,000.
Yeah.
He's already upset about all that. So we figured the easiest way to do it would put in a small house. I mean, I've got pictures of the house, everything we're wanting to do, being that all of the houses, Mr. Irwin just bought his house. The gentleman on the corner up in the front just purchased his house. The gentleman in the middle, which is directly across the street from our house, they purchased it about 3 years ago. They're all rental houses, and the one in the middle is rental, and they're all making good money on rentals.
And they're all old homes. They're not new
Yes, sir.
construction.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I
But
know-
they, go, I'm
So-
sorry, you're good. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of different scenarios that we could cover here. And
Right,
you
right.
asked
I'm just
about
asking
one.
questions,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But again, and attrition is what you would think of to answer one of your questions.
Mm-hmm.
Is what do you do with all the old homes? Well, I'll go back right now. I found out today. The block between Highway 98 and Avenue B
Yes, sir.
at 10th Street, between 10th Street and 9th Street, it was bought, I think, yesterday. by a
Across from the
commercial-
moorings.
Yes, sir,
Yes.
by a commercial business.
Right.
So that's gonna be an expansion into
Right.
that, into that same corridor that we're looking at going
Right.
right on up Highway 98. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. Anything else from the board?
I just want to say that, we usually take the planning and zoning's recommendation and, like I say, we've already turned down 2 or 3 of these same requests. I know it's hard, but, you know, we have to stick with what it's the reason we have a planning and zoning board.
Okay, so will I be able to build a commercial building there?
Yeah, if you want to, sure.
Whatever I mean, whatever y'all will agree to?
As long as it's commercial, yes.
Can the commercial building have living quarters in it?
You need to talk
I'm
to
just
that lady
asking.
right there.
What if I own a 24-hour business? What if we have to stay overnight?
That would
I-
all need to go.
It would.
For site plan approval.
That's right.
For the board,
Yeah.
again, that would be a separate issue. than
Yeah,
this.
separate issue. Yeah.
Okay. Second floor, yeah, that's what it showed on the,
Yeah.
It would be the same scenario.
Yeah.
I have been denied to build one of them.
I didn't want to say anything.
Okay, any commissioners, can we get a motion one way or the other?
Do we need a motion?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We'll have to make a decision here.
It's quasi-judicial, you have to.
Correct.
Okay. And I do apologize, and I hope you understand.
I won't understand, I mean, unless you say yeah, because I mean, this is our life. This is where we're gonna retire, this is what we plan on doing. We've been looking at the same houses for the last 10 years. I've seen these same houses for the last 30 years working in Carrabelle. None of those houses are going anywhere. You've got there's a trailer that sits in front of us, it's a 1961 trailer.
Yeah.
They still live in it every day, they still rent it out on the weekends. The neighborhood is never gonna change if we don't do something different.
We
I
just
know
aren't
it's a
trying
commercial
to add
neighborhood.
to
Yes, I understand.
the
I mean,
residential
yes.
in the commercial.
Right, right.
That's-
It's nothing personal.
But no, I don't say it's personal. I mean, it's just, you have an area that's all housing. And then you got commercial, which I understand,
It's not all housing.
it's what?
That entire corridor is not all housing.
Right across
It's
on
vacant
the next
lots.
block is
So-
business.
So if they gonna sell the
And-
front lot in the front, and the people don't wanna sell in the back, then that holds up that whole entire block.
And like I said, we can run through a bunch of
Right,
different
right.
scenarios because
Right.
you said that if you don't start somewhere, that's basically what we're saying here.
Exactly.
Right.
Is you got to start somewhere.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to disapprove the special exception.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second to deny the request.
Where can I get a list of what can be built there and what can't as far as commercial?
That
And
lady
what
right-
kind of commercial businesses can go in there?
That lady right there.
Okay. And, code enforcement, how do I get a hold of them?
You looking at her right there.
Okay. And how do I get a hold of you? Come back in the office?
We have a place on our website, if you go to mycarrabelle.com under the building permit portal, you can report a code complaint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bywater.
Y'all have a
Yep.
good one.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. I'm going to take us out of the quasi judicial hearing and reconvene our regular city commission meeting. Do y'all want to break or you want to go forward? Okay, rock on? Okay. New business, we have none.
We got a whole bunch.
Yeah, we do. We have a whole bunch.
Do you need a break? Are you trying to tell
I
us
guess I
something?
need a break, yeah. Okay. Item number 1, presentation of Franklin PowerPoint overview regarding the critical essential workforce housing and the formation of a public-private partnership presented by Bill Williams. Mr. Williams, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Bill Williams. I'm the care coordinator representing the sheriff tonight. This vision that we basically started was looking at the property. I asked Commissioner Ward to be with me tonight, too. She's actually been appointed by the BOC to help us, and I'll explain 65, but I thought it would be good she could answer any questions that you have specifically to the direction of the board, but I wanted to give an overview of the project. Basically, the sheriff started speaking about the 7 acres that he had behind our existing judicial complex now and what would be the best opportunity for that. One of the things that you certainly as commissioners are well aware of is that we have a massive problem with housing domain for our critical and essential personnel, from law enforcement to school teachers. We just can't sustain those folks when we don't have the housing availability. Well, the equation behind the sheriff's vision was to look at the 7 acres in multiple frameworks. So we started talking about what could we do to help these folks. You could see what the, okay, you can go to the next one. We basically talked about what could be done to address this. When we started looking at the properties on 65, it became evidently clear that there was an opportunity to form a relationship, a multi-jurisdictional relationship with the county, the school board, et cetera, and I'll tell you that story as we go through. But the sheriff said, let's get with the school board. They have 25 acres adjacent to us. You can flip to the... Basically, this next page of how could we work together with the school board, considering they're a different elected constitutional body, how could we do it? Florida statute with the legislature and with the governor is very progressive in what's called a P3 or a public-private partnership. They want private enterprise working with government to make things move and move much faster than, generally speaking, government can pull it together. So what's been exciting, this is my last stop on the train. You guys are the caboose. We've gone to the school board. The school board has approved this project and appointed an individual to be with us. If you look at the property I mentioned, there's 27 acres that adjoins the sheriff's office. And this is, to me, the most exciting part. They have money with the damage of the school bus barn to start looking at construction. The superintendent and the board want to have a bus barn there on that property. We then reached out to President Murdaugh with TCC, or now it's Tallahassee State College, and they have agreed to partner with us in that bus barn. So it won't just be a bus barn. We will have a CDL training program there. Our goal is then to expand that, where we have HVAC, plumbing. Yeah, just back up one second. Let me finish on TCC. There you go. To basically have heavy equipment type trainings, et cetera, so that we can be full circle and actually have an academic corridor. So what became clear with the sheriff and our partners and the other boards was to basically say we have the opportunity to have a housing, an academic, and an economic corridor, and that's where we get to the county. But TCC is going to be one of our partners in this process as well. You can go ahead. This 27 acres, when you look at this almost from a development standpoint, we did a preliminary drawing, and they need about 3 to 4 acres for this educational center. Then you can flip to the next one. We looked at it and said, what could we do with these properties for these critical personnel that we've described? Potentially with a zoning change with the county, we could look at 88 lots within that domain on the other side of us. This could put a lot of people in the homes that they need to as they work for the counties and the cities. And again, we'll get to what I need from this board, but this is the concept and how we would do it. So these properties now, and the great thing about this is not a traditional, you all have heard workforce housing and affordable housing. This is a very different component, and it's going to have multiple phases based on the board's direction. But what we see and envision is taking care of our employees first. That's the motive, and not losing control of the property. This wouldn't be given to a group external to Franklin County. This body that's been appointed would manage the properties. It would look at a basic lease of the property with tied to a CPI index, so it's not a sale. Then we have partners in the private sector, either equity, construction, engineering, et cetera, where they become looking at where their profit is made, and we want folks to make money. That's not a bad thing, but we don't want it to do at the taxpayer's expense. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we've got collaborative partners who can see the vision with us and grow with us, and they can make a lot of money off 99-cent tacos instead of coastal pricing of a house as that home is being built. We then reach to East Point Water and Sewer with their 42 acres. Go ahead. This is the 7 acres that started. I should have put that in the beginning slide. But most of you know, because you grew up with a lot of these folks, we've got some unfortunate folks that have been tangled up with drugs and the things that keep bringing them back to jail, but some incredible talent from construction and plumbing and things that these people have been able to do. But there's no track post incarceration into the reentry side. We think that we can build tiny houses, have a step-down unit where folks coming from incarceration will have the availability to be able to train and get into the workforce, as we talked about it. We talked about a small homeless shelter area where we could stabilize and transport to Tallahassee, and then we also talked about a manufacturing arm there on site. So that's what started it, and then we led into the school board. Go ahead. And behind us, if you look, there's 7 acres. And we did the same thing with the zoning change with the county. That's why this lady right here is very, very important to us. We looked at what could we go. We could go from 7 lots to 29 lots in the same scenario. And when you speak to the superintendent, he will tell you that right now he has 15 open positions for teachers, which is really crippling his ability to build the school system here. Paraprofessionals that are having to teach because they can't afford the housing that's here. This can solve those problems. Go ahead. So with the zoning change, we would go to 29 lots behind that and have a lot of diversity of what this board can ultimately do with those properties. But these are just ideas. Ultimately, the board that I'll ask you to appoint someone will make the decisions based on it. But conceptually, we wanted to lay out what could be done. The economic development side, and this is where the commissioner has been a big cheerleader for this and trying to drive economics. The same scenario exists for trying to relocate any business that would come into Franklin County. The BOCC has 55 acres on the other side of the 27 acres, and we're working with them to find out where exactly they want to go as a county, what type of economic enterprise that they're after. But this is also what we consider in a federal opportunity zone. A federal opportunity zone, and this is not dollars coming out of Franklin County taxpayers. These are dollars that have already been made by corporations. They're capital gains taxes. This area would be in that. It assists us in targeting a business that wants to come in, and once you set up a federally opportunity zone, they have to invest, keep those dollars in there for 10 years, and then they can end up paying 0 on capital gains. So these are monies that a corporation has already made. They're trying to continue to keep those funds, and those are the kind of businesses that we want to look. But we got to have housing for the employees that they come into. So that 55 acres, the 27 acres, and the 7 acres all are being brought to bear. So we're basically harnessing all the resources that the governmental opportunities have as we come in. Commissioner, did you want to say anything on that part? Okay. So basically, we went to the county, and they appointed Commissioner Ward to be our representative there. This is also in her district, so she's going to be the biggest advocate of bringing this to fruition in conjunction with the sheriff and how we develop those properties out as we come in. Okay? I think that's the Is that the 55 acres? That gives you an overview aerial. You folks know these properties well, but again, it's all from 65 in the sheriff's office right up north going up 65. So they're all adjacent to each other, which makes it an amazing corridor that can literally transform this county with the pipeline, as I said, of academics and economics and housing. Go ahead. Obviously, we've got to have water and sewer, kind of a critical thing. So when I reached out to East Point Water and Sewer, they have 42 acres that's on the other side of 65. They're not adjoining us, but they're across this, they're still in that same corridor. They sold 3 acres of that land to the BOCC. That's where the new Emergency Operations Center will be going. And we think TCC, again, can be our partner in looking at homeland security, cybersecurity, different things that we can educate young people and work with the school system so that we can keep young people in Franklin County but have that academic factor available for them. We see a great avenue from the law enforcement side that these folks can get trained right there on site. We'd love to see, and I'm sort of speaking out of turn, but I want TCC to build a corrections and law enforcement component, you know, there where our folks don't have to travel to Tallahassee for all of that training. Go ahead. So basically my ask, and then I'll turn it over to the commissioner for any questions, my ask tonight of you all is to join us. I mean, we have East Point Water and Sewer, the county, the school board, and Apalachicola joined us Tuesday. What we'd like to do is make 65 our major focal point at this point. Then we want to flank and come to a theater near you with the properties that you have in your arsenal. So, you know, there's 2 questions that I'd ask tonight. One being that you appoint someone to represent the interest of the city of Carrabelle in this process. And I want to make real clear, you're not surrendering any of the properties that are under your domain unless you want to bring them into that fold and we work together, because together the opportunity, this gentleman from the engineering company knows it well, we have to execute on CDBGs, we need state revolving funds, we need federal appropriations from HUD. And to do that and to go after Triumph and everything else, the way we can do that is execute together. No county has all of the governmental entities working together. So as a small county, that is a powerful message that you take to Tallahassee or D.C. that we're doing this together. That is very hard to turn that funding request down. So we need you as our partner. We would ask that you appoint someone to the board to represent your interest. And a second request would be that you let me work with your staff, your engineer and your lawyer and your clerk, et cetera, so that we can look at it and go forward. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it over for questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board?
I'm sure I'll have a lot of them.
Well, I'll go ahead and make some comments up front because, and I met with Bill earlier, a couple weeks ago, and talked with him a little bit about this same thing, and I expressed some of my personal feelings at the time, so I'm going to express them as a mayor and representing the city of Carrabelle tonight. Your concept, I think, is great. However, instead of Carrabelle being out on the wingtips, we need to be involved up front in the initial, on the onset, in the beginning. We've got roughly 20 acres right here on this corner that could be, by approval of this board right here, that's 20 acres is roughly between the school board and the city of Carrabelle. Most of it's owned by the city of Carrabelle, which was once owned by the school board. City of Carrabelle owns 2 parcels of it, and the only parcel that the school board that owns remaining over here is where their current bus barn is at. And some conversations that has taken place that over the last year or two, when the new bus barn's built on 65 that you mentioned, that's been being talked about now for quite some time, this property can probably be connected all back again with the city of Carrabelle, and that's roughly 20 acres.
Yes, sir.
And I think I mentioned it to you. And workforce housing is very important to us, not low-income housing. We have some low-income housing. I had to learn that the hard way, the difference between workforce and low-income. I always thought if I was talking about low-income, I was talking about the correction officer and the police officer and the water and sewer worker. No, that's workforce housing. So anyway, we need workforce housing here as much as the sheriff's office and the school does.
And Mr. Mayor, I by no means meant to intend that you would be in the secondary. We've just been working where they've got immediate
Yep.
funds available, but we haven't done anything. That's why we're here tonight to
Yeah.
ask you the partner. We
But
want
we've-
you from the beginning.
Okay, the way I understood your presentation, which is great, it's a good presentation, is you've got immediate lands available on 65, which is wonderful. I knew about all those lands, being a local resident of Franklin County for 70 years. And I think that's great. That's wonderful. I support that. I'm not throwing any bad pudding on that. But I got to include Carrabelle.
Agreed.
Yes, sir. And I would be happy if this board's in favor to have someone participate on your committee. If it's up to this board here, not just up to me. But from day one, I would want Carrabelle included on workforce housing.
100% understood.
Because and I explained to you one of the things that we already tried out here. We went through that scenario for what, 2-3 years? 3 years, and it didn't pan out. And Bill, I think I explained that one to you.
Yes, sir.
And we're very much in a need for the workforce housing, and very much sincerely interested in trying to do something with property. Not only do we own it, we've got water and sewer already available. It's already sitting here, ready to go. All they have to do is build out there.
And a site plan.
Yeah, and a site plan for original one.
That's awesome.
So anyway, board, that's my comments. Do y'all have some comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate somebody to be on this board, and I think you would be the guy, seems you know more about it than anybody here. So would you accept that position, to work with these people?
We have someone else on the board that's really interested in participating,
Well-
and I don't mind participating,
Wait,
but
I got full confidence in whoever you. I mean, I'm not just. If you think, you make the nomination.
Mr. Mayor, Jessica Ward, Commissioner, Franklin County.
Yes, ma'am.
If I could just add to this, you know, you guys as a board, I know in the past have tried workforce housing, and workforce housing and affordable housing, completely different things. Somebody's come to me and said, our houses are going to start at $200,000. I said, that's not affordable. That's not affordable.
yeah.
We as a board have tried to tackle affordable housing in the same area that was discussed. But the issue is, we got to tackle it, in my opinion, and I think that's what Mr. Williams is trying to say. Things come together when you work together. Knowledge is power, and the groups of people are powerful. If we tackle this all together under, in my opinion, what I feel like under this partnership, I think is the only way to tackle our issues that we have in this county with workforce, and not just in Carrabelle, whole countywide. And you know, we got to work. In my opinion, I feel like working together would make it happen. It's a lot more promising to make it happen working together versus just working each city or county or each municipality separately. That's just my thoughts on that one.
Thank you, Commissioner Ward, and I very much have the same feeling you do. However, if I can clarify, maybe I was misunderstood. When I said I'm looking out for Carrabelle, I didn't mean it that we were just looking out for Carrabelle, and I expressed this to Mr. Williams when he and I met. And I'm old enough and wise enough to know that larger numbers are power, okay? And I think that's great that we're working together, and his concept of what he has explained tonight and putting together in our county and working together is great. But the thing I caught the most, or not the most, but the thing that it really hit me hard in his presentation was that right now we're going to focus on 65. We'll get these others later. I think we should be focusing on all of it at one time. In the beginning, I want to participate. I want us to participate. And I want to be a part of whatever happens on 65. But I don't want to wait 20 years, 30 years, 10 years to get around to Carrabelle. I want to start working on Carrabelle from day one, and 65 on day one, and Apalachicola on day one. I don't have a problem with any of it as long as we're working on all of it and not just on one. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense,
Yep.
Mr. Mayor. And I agree, because I represent the great city of Carrabelle as well. So
That's correct.
I'm for everybody.
Right. And I'm good with that. If we're gonna, and that's what I'd like to see us do, is work on all of it, not on just one. Anyway, did I see the attorney wanting to make a comment? How about you, Mr. Inovia?
Thank you. I just wanted to point out that the property that you're referring to, we basically have a shovel-ready project there. That
That's
design is
correct.
complete and permits are in order. We may need to do a little update to that plan, but otherwise it's basically shovel-ready.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, and again, I make sure if anything gets started, this is a challenging and complex framework. We've got a bunch of entities and a bunch of folks working together. But, I hear the mayor loud and clear, and Carrabelle is in the front seat. The scenarios that we can all get there together, though, and that kind of project with that kind of engineering and stuff already done, it does move those forward. And having, I mean, as the mayor pointed to me in our discussion, you have lots of people from the Department of Corrections, from Forestry, et cetera,
Exactly.
that are being so impacted. It's not just deputies and folks there at 65. The mayor articulately, he's either going to take me to dinner or the woodshed. I can't figure out most time which way we're going. But I know if I mess up, I'm coming to the woodshed. So I assure this board, Carrabelle's at the table. The point that I'm trying to say is when we sit down with folks like you, I don't know the inventory of your resources. So we sit down with you, with the clerk, with the lawyer, we get it all formed, and nothing will be done without that board making actions, and it goes. That's why it's called One Franklin. It should move as one entity.
Okay, good. And to make another illustration is those school teachers, those deputies that work for that Franklin County Sheriff's Office, a tremendous amount of them live over here.
Absolutely.
They don't all live on 65. There's a lot of them live over here. They live in Appalachia. They live in Carrabelle. They live at Lenart. So that housing's needed over here for those deputies and those school teachers just as much as they are over there.
Well, and we see too, like I said, the secondary part, eventually we will work to the economic side, working with business. The third part will certainly be the general population as a whole as we transform everybody. It's just going to be a matter of getting it started. That's all we are, is getting it started.
Well, and I'm with you there. Get started, and the more people that are involved, again, the more noise that's going to be made, okay? And I'm all for that, but I'm still saying that we should all go at the same time and everybody be in the front seat, not
I agree.
just that one area. So, anyway.
Any more questions?
Yeah, any more questions? Thank y'all very much for thank you for the presentation, Bill, and thank you, Commissioner, for attending tonight. We're pretty good to see you here. You're welcome anytime. We'd love to see you more.
Could we ask for you to entertain, give me a person who can be seated officially so we can have them seated?
We're going to do that before we leave this subject.
Okay? Thank you.
Actually, I think, and I don't mind doing it, Commissioner Walden. I really don't. But we do know in November I won't be here anymore. So, we have a candidate that's going to be running that's probably going to be here, and I think she may be interested. Are you interested?
100%.
Okay.
Well, in that case, I will nominate Commissioner Brown.
Thank
you. Work with these people to see if we can get things moving.
Did you get that motion, Ms. Clerk? Get things moving?
It's a motion. Need a second?
Yes.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Brown to appoint Commissioner Brown to this committee,
Walden to Brown.
and have a second by Commissioner Gray.
And
All
then
those
just
in
from the-
favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Bill.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate y'all
Hey.
very much. And for the general public's information, This is a recommendation board that falls under Sunshine. All of these meetings, our first meeting will be a structural meeting where the attorneys give an overview. It'll all be videotaped and open to the public, et cetera. So all of this will be very transparent as we move forward and bring this together.
Well, let me say this before you go. I'm really excited about it. What I was saying tonight is not being negative. I'm really excited about it. I just have that piece that I needed to add in
Mr. Mayor, if you
there.
weren't fighting for Carrabelle, you wouldn't be sitting in that chair. So I
Exactly.
appreciate what you're doing.
I'm really excited about it, and if there's anything that I could do, I'd be more than happy to. And best of luck to the whole thing, and I'll be following it, that's for sure.
Sounds excellent. And I'll get
Thank
with
you,
you
sir.
guys on that property so you can start giving me some information.
Yep.
And I'll
Thank
send you Commissioner Brown's information.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
One more board.
Do what?
Then I'm on one more board.
Yeah, you are. Okay, item number 2, discussion and possible action regarding new cemetery addition, requested by Mr. George Emswilder.
Mr. Emsweiler wasn't able to make it. I can give you a brief overview if you want, or if you guys just want to table it.
Let's just table it. I talked to you today about it, and since he's not here, I don't think it's gonna go nowhere. So I'm gonna make a motion, we table this, Mr. George can be here.
I'll second that.
Okay, have a motion and a second to table item number 2. Motion by Commissioner Walden, second by Commissioner Brown. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all. Item number 3, discussion and possible action regarding Crooked River Lighthouse request by Mr. Dan Floyd. Mr. Floyd here?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. There you are.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
commissioners, and staff, and members of the audience. This is a presentation that I really don't want to make.
Talk in your mic, please.
I have struggled with it for quite some time, but after having spoken with a number of people in our community, numbering 46 to be exact, we've got some problems out at the lighthouse.
Mr. Floyd, are those problems structurally?
We do have some problems structurally at the lighthouse, yes, sir.
Okay, so you have, what you come in before us with tonight is you have some recommendations for operation, maintenance, or construction at the lighthouse itself?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The issue that we have out there is starting with the children's pirate ship and boat, the playground, is not completed. It was approved 2 years ago.
Sorry, I thought I had that off.
The electrical system on the boat does not meet code. I'm not sure that the structure meets code. I'm not sure that the city has inspected the structure, although events have been held on the lighthouse. It's been brought to my attention by people who have visited the lighthouse. They look over and they look at the boat and they ask, is it safe? There are standards for building playground equipment, national standards. I'm concerned that those standards are not being met. Recently, I had an opportunity to review the financial records at the lighthouse. I couldn't make any determination. I was in part of 2 other CLA members, and we reviewed the records. The records are not being made according to standard accounting principles, and so we can't make heads or tails of it. I understand that the lighthouse or the CLA is insolvent. $60,000 was raised by local members of the community, business members, maybe even the city contributed towards that. The lighthouse, the CLA is insolvent. Where did the money go? We have a situation out there where my understanding is it's not happening currently, but historically, a member or an employee of the CLA who is a light keeper at the lighthouse, in other words, that person manages the goings-on at the lighthouse, selling bricks, lighthouse climbs, whatever, was permitted to live in the lighthouse for a period of time?
Mr. Floyd,
Yes, sir.
I don't mind listening to anyone's concerns.
Yes, sir.
However, what I hear thus far is not a city council issue. It's a Lighthouse Association issue. And the Lighthouse Association is a member of like-minded volunteers and individuals that formed on their own, if you will, to oversee, build, construct, and operate the Crooked River Lighthouse. The city of Carrabelle, this board has no authorization to, if you will, monitor, well, not necessarily monitor, but regulate and supervise that Lighthouse Association. They're an independent volunteer board. The city of Carrabelle does own that lighthouse, and we do have, this board does have authority on certain operation and maintenance and construction and building, but that Lighthouse Association, as an example, their funds, we don't oversee their funds. That Lighthouse Association oversees their entire operation. We don't regulate and monitor the Lighthouse Association. That's a group of volunteers that's formed, and if you will, they oversee the operation of the lighthouse. Now, Mr. Attorney, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think the mayor's exactly right regarding the association, that it's a private association. It's not affiliated. They don't work under the city. As far as the pirate ship, that's probably something that the building official will go out and take a look at.
Correct.
Yep.
That's on the county, not the city.
It's still,
Then the county building official. So
Yeah.
a building official will go out there
a
and
building
look at it.
official can look at it. That's
Yep.
correct.
And that's something certainly that's good to bring that sort of stuff to our attention, and we'll address it.
Those are the kind of things, if you have, again, like that, if there's an issue there, we'll address that. We'll either address it through the board or the association, or we have a building inspector look at it. If there's a substantial violation of safety. Now, if you've got some suggestions for improvements, we'd be willing to listen to those, more than willing to listen to those. And so would that Lighthouse Association, I'm sure. So, is there anything else?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The commission recently approved alcohol at the lighthouse at the Cinco de Mayo event.
Okay.
There were people observed bringing coolers into the gathering and tumblers and going out and making visits to their vehicles and so on and mixing drinks and coming back. Attendance at the beer wagon was very low. Now, you raised that concern with the CLA when they applied for that permit. And there wasn't any supervision being done on alcohol consumption at that playground.
Yeah, we don't.
Mr. Floyd, still, that's a Lighthouse Association concern. That's not a city concern.
Yes, sir. The lighthouse is city-owned.
It is.
It's a park. Does it not concern you?
That's not the point. That's not what you were just asking. You were just asking about an issue with alcohol.
Yes, sir.
And what you just brought before this commission and what you just explained about the alcohol was a Lighthouse Association issue. The Lighthouse Association had came to us, and we authorized the use of the alcohol out there with the beer and wine, and we authorized that. And now, what you just explained about private individuals going into a car and mixing drink, that's not us. That's you need to address the Lighthouse Association.
Well, sir, you expressed concern with the president at that meeting that you were going to oversee this thing. Mr. Walden was very concerned that alcohol being served out there, it would become a matter of tradition or whatever. And now you don't want to acknowledge that the city does in fact have control over that Lighthouse Association. The city has the power to address these concerns. And to say that that the city does not have any power, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't agree with you.
Well, I think we just about ended our discussion with you because I didn't say we didn't have any power.
Well,
Okay.
if I misspoke,
We
I
do
apologize.
have authorization over the Lighthouse, but not that association. And it seems like what you have to offer us tonight is not really any concerns other than you just continuously going off on different tracks. How many items have you addressed with us since you come up there?
I have 10 total. How many
Okay.
have I addressed? I'm sorry. Maybe
Okay.
I've lost track. How many? How many have I addressed, sir?
I didn't count them.
Well, you know,
Okay. One of the commissioners has a question,
Yes,
and I'll
sir.
allow her to ask that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brown?
What are we trying to accomplish here? Just so we can understand and maybe offer some resolution. What is your goal for coming here and speaking to us tonight?
my goal is to bring to the attention the discrepancies and issues with the CLA, the people that you have given authority to operate the property, but you don't want to hear it.
We're open to it, but what would you like from us? What would you like to see us do?
I would like for you to ask the CLA to voluntarily submit to an audit of the books by a Florida certified public accountant and to answer some of these questions that we have. You know, I'm not the only one in this room who wish to speak to this matter. And if allowed, I'm sure that a couple of them will come up. I want the best for the Lighthouse, but we've got a situation there where, you know, the issues are so numerous, but I'm feeling that you don't want to hear them.
It's not that.
It-
And I understand your concern, but as Mayor Millender stated, that is a private entity. That would be like us not agreeing with how someone's running their business downtown and asking to see their books. We just don't have the authority to do that. We may own the land, like Daleen, her upholstery shop downtown. We own that building, the city does. But we have no rights to her bank accounts, how she runs her business, what color upholstery she puts on her chair. It's similar, am I correct, City Attorney? We don't have the authority to tell them how to run their association.
Does it not concern you that $60,000 was raised for the boathouse or the ship by businesses, persons in the community and so on? Like that the boat isn't finished and 60 grand is gone?
I understand that, and I have a great relationship with Steve Allen, and I talked to him today about, plans to finish it. And we also understand these things take time with any kind of grants and things like that. It takes time, and they are consistently working on it from what I understand.
I'm encouraged by that. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other comments from the public?
Speaker card for the Richard
Okay. Mr. Miller?
And that's the only speaker card I have on that.
Thank you, Keisha.
I'm here, my wife and I are relatively new members at the Lighthouse.
Okay.
We've been coming for 3 years, I think, and we do the markets on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Like with Dan, not quite as intense, but we're concerned about the overall safety of not the lighthouse itself, but the buildings around it, the main office and stuff. Have you ever had the pleasure to look in the wash house that's associated with it?
No, I can't say that I have.
Okay, if you're looking at the main building, when you're pulling in the driveway, off to the right, there's a smaller building. That's a wash house, and it's got historical information in there. But nobody can get to it for two reasons. One, it's being used as a storage room for chairs and the like. Secondly, the railings are gone on the walkway to get to it. So, and they haven't been replaced. I've got a few pictures. I don't know who you want me to show them to. Okay.
Sure.
Well, explain them first.
Okay.
First one is just that. It's the pictures of the missing railings and stuff going to the wash house.
If you would, Mr. Miller, give those to the city administrator, and she can run them through the board, and I'll pass them right on over to the, yep. Thank you, sir.
I feel he should have them anyway because
Yes, sir.
it's a legal issue. This one is a picture of the ramp going up, the handicap ramp to get to the office. There's a trim work on this particular railing or upright that's missing. That's not a big issue. What is the board that's connected or laid down is popping up, which makes it a tripping hazard. And there's a couple of those, and I'll pass these over in just a minute. This is looking at the building as you come in. It's the left-hand side, the stairwell going up to the bathroom. It's blocked off now because the railing coming down the stairs is not attached to the top of it's not attached to the post. So if you were to trip and fall against that railing, it could break and be a lawsuit. Don't want that to happen. As far as the pirate ship is concerned, they had to put an addition on where the band stands. Boards there are popping up. They're not secured properly. And the rest of these pictures are all, this is a shot looking down the back of the pirate ship. Kids could fall through that with no problem. The main stairs going up in the pirate ship, there's no hand railings. Basically, there's no hand railings on any of the stairs that are sufficient. And then the electric going to it, this is just a picture. There's cover missing on the junction box. The pipe is pulled apart that has 120 volts in it. If any kids got in there, they could get hurt. And last but not least, there's no signs saying do not go on there. There's no tapes around it. There's nothing to prevent kids from going there. So, and these are signatures of people that are concerned.
Okay.
So there's the list of that.
Mr. Miller, I have a question.
I'll be happy to try and answer.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, thank you for bringing that information and sharing it with us. That's the kind of information I was kind of alluding to.
Yeah.
If you have concerns, share them with us. But my follow-up question on that, are you a member of the Lighthouse Association?
Yes.
Okay. Have you brought this to the attention of the association?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
And I see Steve standing here, so
Okay.
he just got it the same time you did.
Now, to me, see, that would be the first avenue, especially being you're a member of the Lighthouse Association.
Within the last month and a half.
Well, I would
So-
bring it before the group and try to address it, because this is what you're describing to us. It's good that we know this, but the things that you're describing and what you're looking at, what we're looking at, I haven't saw all the pictures, but
Right.
just the first one that came by. I'm glad to see that, because I'm not out at the Lighthouse all the time. But to me, with those concerns, when you have your association meeting, Those are the kind of issues that you discuss at that association meeting, and that group, that association comes up with a plan of action to correct those issues.
Well, I haven't been a member long enough to be able to be invited to a meeting, so that I couldn't do. The next meeting is the 25th of June, I believe, and I'll be in New York at that point.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying, yes.
Yes, sir.
But the reason I came here tonight, especially wanted the attorney to hear this, because if anybody gets hurt because of any of those, that's a lawsuit against the city of Carrabelle.
Right. Exactly.
And we want to see the lighthouse and the property stay in good shape so everybody can enjoy it for years to come.
And exactly, and I think we all want that, and that's what we need to do without dissension.
Right.
And get along, have good discussion, come up, share good ideas, positive ideas, how to resolve problems, how to repair things. Around my household, around your household, there's things that I take for granted that if you come and walk through my barn, you may see something that I haven't seen because I've ignored it. I see it every day.
Oh, I know.
So anyway, those are just that's just a part of life and the sharing of good positive ideas, which is kind of what I was saying to Mr. Floyd.
Right.
If you have good ideas, share those with us. We want to see those. But to get into a match of going back and forth to one another,
well,
it's not productive.
There does seem to be another issue.
Yes, sir.
The Carrabelle Lighthouse Association is a 501(c)(3). 501(c)(3)s are supposed to be transparent. And I know this is not your issue. I'm just so you'll understand where we're coming from.
Right.
It's supposed to be transparent, and it's not. They've got a new computer program, and I'm not sure what the acronym is, something like SNAKE or something like that, Slack, that nobody can get in unless Mr. Allen or somebody on the board gives you the password so that you can see anything that they've agreed to. And as a member, we're supposed to be eligible to see the financials. We're supposed to be able to see the minutes of the board meetings. None of that is currently available unless you've got the password to that computer program. So this is pretty much where Mr. Floyd was coming from, is that there's no transparency. We're not being allowed the opportunity to see what's going on and what's not being done.
Okay.
So that's it for me. I just wanted to bring that stuff to your attention.
Well, I really appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate you bringing that to me. But again, I go back to the fact that what you were just saying, and that
That's
if you're
not
a board,
your problem, I understand.
No. I don't mean that it's not our problem. That's not what I was going to say to you. What I was going to say to you, you're a board member.
No.
And you have concerns.
No, I'm just a member.
Okay, you're a member, and you have concerns. All the members or organizations I've ever been a part of, if that membership had a concern, they brought it to that board as a whole, okay? And if there was an issue, they kept working on it, even if it took an election to change board members. They kept working on it until they resolved that issue. And we can't force that association to do that.
Understood.
Now, those members can, but we can't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. And again, thank you very much for bringing those pictures. I enjoyed that.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yes. And thank you, all of you volunteers that work hard at the lighthouse to make it as nice as it is. I was out there for this ribbon cutting on the water and sewer that the Innovia engineer mentioned earlier tonight. First time I had visited the lighthouse in quite some time. And if you will, the little museum room, the light room, etc. It looks fantastic. It looks great. It's beautiful. And the grounds look great. Now, I didn't inspect all the buildings in some of these pictures, but things look really good out there.
Tony, Steve.
Yes, sir. Steve, did you have a comment? Quick one?
Yes, sir, real quick. Certainly, anyone's willing to come and talk and ask question. I do want to point out that I've been working with Courtney. We've had some different contractors out to give us bids on the repair of the ramps and the different pieces that were identified by Mr. Rick. And so we're working on that as well. Glad to have help, just open door, you know, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
That's what I wanted to ask was, I know previously we had asked you to give us a list of issues so that we could either have streets or roads or get a contractor and all these things, and I just wanted to verify that you had been in communication with our
Absolutely.
city administrator
And
to do that.
if they would ask, they would have known, I mean, I'm reported out and telling you, we have been an open community of volunteers for the 25 years that we've been around. And there have been a lot of people who have dedicated and spent hours and time to repair things and fix things and do things. And so we'll continue to do that. We invite members of the community. As far as the Slack channel and the meeting minutes, those are tools that we used on a steering committee, which is a legal group that were working on dealing with finances and making sure that we could track our daily expenses and our daily income and make sure we had a closer monitoring on all of that. So those are things that we were using. That's all completely appropriate. I'm willing to share anything that, you know, comes to, but anyway, thank you. I won't take up any more of your time. Thanks.
Steve, thank you very much. And no other questions for Steve?
I just want to say thank you for all
Yes.
your time
Yes.
you put
Yes,
in
sir.
there.
Thank you.
I thank you to all the volunteers, as I said just a minute ago. You're doing an excellent job. And the other thing I wanted to point out, you just addressed a couple of things that we looked at right here. You said that the action's being taken.
Oh, yes, sir.
There's progress being made. There's contractors who looked at it. That's another reinforcement to where I was trying to illustrate that as the board, as a whole, if you have a concern, talk about it amongst the board. Something will get done sooner or later.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We did put it out instead of letting our streets and roads because you all
They're
know
busy.
that they are well overwhelmed. We did put that out to 2 different contractors. The first contractor bid seemed pretty high, so I did call another contractor that went out, and I believe it was just earlier this week, he got back his estimate. Still a lot of money. Some of the things don't cost as much can probably be done now, but we will need to look at that during budget time, which we're fixing to start doing. We don't have the money in the budget right now to go out and do everything that needs to be done out there, but we are working on getting the things done that we can take care of now, and then budgeting next year for more repairs.
Perfect.
Thank you, Courtney. And, well, that's enough said. Enough said. Anything else amongst the public? Thank you. Old business, item number 1, discussion and possible action regarding filling vacancy for commissioner seat. I'll open it up to the commission. Yes, ma'am.
Have we, I know we've moved some things around and unfortunate circumstances have happened. Have we advertised this in the paper?
We did not re-advertise it. We did reach out to some of the people who had turned in letters before to see who was still interested. I believe at the time we really just had one other one that was eligible, but Mr. Reese did say he was still interested if that was the route.
Chester's still interested.
In the back there.
He is.
Chester Reese.
I mean, I would like to make a motion to table this and advertise it once again to make it very clear what's going on, because I know the public's been very confused about this. I've been asked 100 questions because it's confusing. So maybe give it one more try.
I disagree. We did advertise this, and we've had no luck in filling this position.
Well, that was for mayor,
Yeah, maybe,
but they showed interest in
Well, they-
commissioner, and then we appointed
Well-
him that way.
I do have one guy I would like to see on this board. He's sitting right back there if he's interested. And I won't make recommendation that I'm going to nominate Mr. Chester if I can.
You making that a motion?
Yes, sir.
I
Okay.
made a motion. Do we need to?
Oh,
what do
you
we
made
need to
the
do?
motion?
You already made a motion?
She made a motion to
You made a motion
table.
table, okay. We got a motion to table this item until the next meeting and re-advertise. Do I have a second?
I'll
Do it.
second that.
Excuse me?
I'm gonna second that.
Commissioner Gray seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of tabling it, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
So we deadlocked.
What does that mean?
Does.
It does.
Oh.
So, now you open to make, you can do your motion.
I will try this once again.
Do we need to ask him if he's,
You need to,
because he said he's okay with it?
Yeah, he has said that.
Okay.
Yeah,
He has.
he has said that.
you want me to ask Mr.
I wasn't clear on all that.
You want me to go ahead and make this, I want to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Chester Reese to fill this position with the city commission.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Walden to appoint Mr. Chester Reese to the vacant position of Commissioner. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? I'll second it. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
One opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Had
Was
one
Bill
opposed.
Sorry,
opposed?
is it still split?
No, he said,
I
You
didn't
didn't
get a
vote.
chance to say aye. I was
Understood. So I,
3-4.
it's 3 for, 1 against.
understood.
Okay. I thought I read you right, Mr. Bill. Okay.
If I don't hear anything, I take it as an aye.
There
So
you go.
Gotta make sure you say your nays if you are opposed.
Well, and really, I like for, this is just me now, and I'm sitting in this seat till, I guess, until November. I like for us to speak up. I mean, then we know for certain. And I've been guilty of that, not saying anything myself, but it's good that we speak up and then we know for certain.
I was on a slow decision.
But, well, no, I got the finger when you raised it. So, okay, I don't think we got anything else.
You gotta swear him in.
Yes. Keisha, are you prepared to do that?
No, I'm not, but I can wing it.
Congratulations, Mr. Chester.
Good evening, and I appreciate Commissioner Brown's concern. Thank you all.
It was nothing personal. I
No,
promise.
no, not at all. I understand completely, and I agree with you on that. There is an empty seat. There's a lot of business to be done for the city.
Yep. And
Over the years of being in the Planning and Zoning Board, and now as chairman, or now going to be former chairman, my skin is hardened a lot. So I'm able to take slings and arrows better than I used to. I want to say that I'm honored that you have selected me to fill this interim seat. I do not plan to run for city commission. I don't plan to. The seat is important to fill so we can keep the business of Carrabelle functioning.
thank you,
And
Mr.
thank
Chester.
you.
Thank you not only for accepting and stepping up to do it, thank you for the many years that you have performed a diligent and good job on our Planning and Zoning Board.
Thank you very
You've
much.
done a great job. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of Government
the Constitution of Government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
perform the duties of City Commissioner
perform the duties of City Commissioner
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, send it. seat?
Come on, Chester. Yes, sir. Try out this seat.
Before I do that,
Congratulations,
Mr.
young
Mayor,
man.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner, thank you.
Well, I was going to ask you for a speech and limit you to 45 minutes. But you've already given your speech. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay. Good job. Okay, if not, meeting adjourned.